Because that was a good group. That was like Bixler and
Yeah.
a bunch of people have been telling me too that you need to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, thank God.
yeah, you need to come out.
Well,
So-
Danny invited me to Dill Dinkers yesterday, but I was like so busy at work. I had to close up at 9. I was like, there's no way I'm making this.
Yeah, there's a Friday night group, and like we played. Actually, I played last night for a little bit with Dave Richardson and Danny and Gage. That was a good game.
Yeah. Was that the one you posted recently?
Yeah, I just posted a highlight of
Yeah.
it last night. Dude, it was a minute 10-second point.
Yeah, you guys were just like, I was watching it like last night. I was like, man, he's just running around.
Yes, it was insane. I mean, Dave Richardson's so fast that like he covers a lot of court, but I dug a bunch of good ones out of there. I was happy at that point. It's good. Very, very good. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Pickle Pulse. I am your host, Brian Green, with my co-host, Ryan Lopez. As always, what's up, dude?
What's up?
Man.
Here as always, I'm here to stay.
Yes, no doubt. In week 4, I believe it at this point. We're gonna keep going forward.
I live here, everyone.
That's correct. My basement has a couple of bedrooms. We've moved Ryan in. Just kidding. He has his own life, his own things going, but as the co-host of the PP, I'm happy to have you in here because we're going to talk some pickle this morning.
Let's do it.
So this past weekend was an interesting one in that we had one of our bigger tournaments of the year, the PPA. Is it Gin Stratosphere Cup?
Stratosphere Gin, Virginia Beach. Doesn't really roll off the tongue all that well.
No, it really doesn't. And I don't know anything about gin. I know that it smells like Christmas trees, and I had a horrible experience in high school with it, which then caused me to never, ever touch it again.
No.
So I'm sure if you're a gin drinker, and I have a couple of friends that are, it probably good. They're sponsoring a thing, but
Gin and tonic, that's all I know.
yeah, that ain't happening with me. No gin. So went down to Virginia Beach. For you guys that don't know the kind of topography of Virginia, it is out by the coast. Of course, it's the beach. Probably 2 hours east of Richmond, which is right in the center of the state, and really cool spot. Virginia Beach, I would put as very close to more northernly beaches.
Okay.
Right. So I grew up. I'm a beach snob, number one. So I'm gonna start with that. I'm a beach snob. I grew up in the Riceville Beach, beautiful North Carolina beach, and most North Carolina beaches don't have boardwalks.
Yeah.
They don't have tons of high rises unless you go to Myrtle Beach. Okay. And then Myrtle Beach is the Redneck Riviera. Okay. Have you ever heard that?
No, it's first time hearing it.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what it is referred to in North Carolina. And so Virginia Beach is more similar to a beach with boardwalks, places in New Jersey, Myrtle Beach, etc. So not really my vibe for a beach, but it was beautiful. And the weather was beautiful. This time of year, there weren't a ton of people there. Still some people that are going to enjoy the beach, but it's a little chilly. The water's a little chilly. The venue was awesome, though.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start this by telling you my long sob story of a weekend.
Oh, man.
Because,
Get the tissues.
dude, I almost need therapy after this weekend. And I don't know if I'm not a guy for excuses, but my wife got sick on Tuesday. By Wednesday, I had caught whatever she has because we sleep in the same bed and she breathed all over me. And
Fair enough.
And by Thursday, I was feeling awful, running a temperature, like cold sweats. I'm supposed to play singles. I had actually signed up for singles at this tournament for the first time in quite a while. The last singles tournament I played was the PPA DC Open, which was like 18 months ago.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I've been practicing. I was excited.
I was
I'm
going to say,
let's
hopefully
go.
you got some like good reps in.
Yeah, I actually did. I
just drove down to Virginia Beach, got your ass kicked. No,
dude, I was feeling good about singles, and I was in the right bracket. So like, I'm not a top end singles guy. So I was in 4-0, 35 plus. I was going to play guys my own age, guys that weren't pros. Thought I had a good shot at winning. But the long story short is, by the time I got to my hotel room on Thursday, about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was in the fetal position in bed, taking Dayquil and ibuprofen, drinking Gatorlights, just trying to nurse myself back to health. Come Friday morning, I woke up, I felt a skosh better, but at that point, I had to withdraw. So that was the first like bummer of the weekend, is had to withdraw from singles. And I just felt like it was the right thing to do for my doubles partners for the weekend. Yeah. It was like, okay, I might have could have pushed myself and done okay. Yeah. But I didn't think I was going to do well. And so I just withdraw, do the right thing for them. Come into the weekend, G and I ready to go to war. We're playing 4-5, 35 plus. The bracket doesn't look scary. You know, I don't see any names in there that I know, which leads me to believe that we should beat most of them. And
that was your problem. You need to research.
No. So that's a really good topic there. In that, before you go to tournaments, do you look at people's dupers? Because I don't like to do it. It psychs me out.
I tell myself I'm not going to do it. And the next thing you know, like I'm on the couch for 2 hours, like looking at people's backgrounds. I'm like, have I played this guy?
But dude,
I'm looking at the player stats. I'm like, this might be a little bit inflated. And I'm looking at like the average like opponent rating, and it's like 4-3 or 4-4. I'm like, crap. It's pretty decent.
Dude, so that's the thing, is I don't want to like psych myself out on a guy I've never met. I'd rather just size him up when I get there. Yeah. And so
maybe he's from like some like random like Midwestern state where like the pickleball, I guess like competition's not good.
That's exactly right. You never know. Yeah. You never know. Although we played a team from Canada, which was super cool.
I don't know how big it is in Canada, but
pickle is huge in Canada. 5% of our viewers are in Canada, Ryan. Believe that or not.
To all of our Canadian viewers.
That's correct. We love you guys. What? Is that wrong?
No, it's good.
So yeah, G and I, we show up. We're super confident. We get through our first match. We actually win the first one. I wouldn't say handily. We played down to our opponent. Yeah. As we've always done. And that's one of my big issues, is like, if the opponent is really good, we step up and we play well. If the opponent seems very beatable within the first game, all of a sudden we give away points. Yeah. And
a lot of easy mistakes.
Dude, I gave away in the first game, I think we won 11-9, and 7 of their points were service return misses.
Oh, the worst.
Dude, service return misses. That is the worst.
Yeah. Anything more than 2, I'm just like, okay.
7.
This thing is getting floated in the air like for the next one.
7. And I was trying to, it came to a point I had missed so many that I was just trying to cupcake them in. Yeah. And I couldn't get the ball in. Jeez. It was the light, colder air down there, and I wasn't used to playing with the Vulcan ball, which seemed to be going, it soared a little more than the X40s we've been playing with.
That is a bright ball.
Yeah, it's very bright. I like the color, and I actually love the ball. The feel of it and the playability is awesome. And then the Thrive Azul was great, other than it seemed extra poppy all weekend. And so I had a hard time resetting and keeping the ball in more so than anything else.
Were you practicing with the Vulcan ball, I guess, prior to the tournament?
No, I didn't have any.
Oh, damn.
I didn't have any.
You just went in there?
No. And I've always heard it's similar to an X40, so I was practicing with an X40, but X40 is heavier and thicker than that ball. It felt like I was playing with a thick Dura. Yeah, okay. I guess is the best way to put it. I was about to
say the same thing. Yeah. I played with it once last week, but yeah, that was my thoughts exactly.
Yep. All right, and as you can see, I am still fighting this dang thing. So we'll see if I can get through this pod without coughing 100 times. Yeah. All right, so we take down our first match. Guys were good, but very beatable. Second match of the day, we go in and we play this team from Canada. 2 guys that were probably in their, I think they were like 36, 37, so they were the youngest team in our bracket. Also, the cool story about the first team, random little nugget, is that was the team that we're going to face later in the bronze medal match, the team that we had already beat. So we play these guys, and in the first game, we get down 10-2.
Oh, great.
Playing horrible. I'm like beside myself with anger. And I don't know what clicks, but something, actually I do. I remember exactly what I thought. I go, holy shit, if we lose 11-2, this is going to crush my duper. That was my thought. That was my thought.
I have that same thought process too when I'm playing some of these matches. I was like, if I remember this correctly, my duper is going to get slammed if I lose this match.
That's exactly right.
You know, it's just, it's a terrible mindset to be thinking of, like, in a match. You have all these, like, strategies going on in your head, and, like, the first thing that pops up is, my duper is going to go down.
Yes, and I was like, So, best comeback of my life.
Yeah.
Down 10-2, we come back, we run off 6 points immediately, get it to 10-8. All right, they get the ball back, we hold them.
Yeah.
Get it to 10-10. They get the ball back. They get 1 point. We hold. We end up. Wait. That was game 2. We lost game 1.
Yeah.
That was game 2 that we came back in because I remember we had to win to get a game 3.
Yeah.
We beat them 13-11.
Oh my God.
Yes. Beat them 13-11 in game 2. We're feeling really good. The momentum switched. It was on our side. It was a small bracket that we were playing into, and I knew if we can get through them, we're in the gold medal match. Yeah. So I was like, okay, let's get through these guys. We get up like 6-0 in game 3.
Yeah.
And then proceed to shit away the rest of the game.
Oh, that's bad.
Hitting the ball out, making dumb mistakes, just like it was sloppy pickleball.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to put it all weekend. And I don't want to harp on the excuse that I didn't feel good. I felt good enough to stay there. I didn't pass out, and I was playing. Yeah. But my best pickleball was not being played. And it was a very, very sad day for G and I both. We went back to our hotel room, which was at least oceanfront. Yeah. No, we were talking a lot, but the problem was just like, at least we got to go sit oceanfront, watch the waves roll in as we kind of decompressed.
Medalist.
Yeah. And man, it was just one of those days. And then I had mixed doubles the next day with Michelle Spar. We fought really hard, and I think we could have done well in that, but it just didn't happen. It was one of those things where our resets, our drops were not finding it, and we were constantly digging out of holes and points.
Yeah. 4-5, that'll do it to you.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get your drops in. You got to get your drops in.
Disaster.
And I got to a point where I was trying to drive through a lot of teams just to like create points, and made mistakes, and I actually like almost knocked Michelle off the court at one point.
Poor Michelle.
Oh yeah, she looked at me and goes, "Brian." And I was like,
if you're watching this, Michelle, Brian owes you an apology.
I do. I'm sorry, Michelle. I got super aggressive, and I had already had a weekend. I was ready to fight.
No, I get that too.
Not you, Michelle, but I was ready to fight anyone who wanted to fight at that point.
When thirds aren't going, like I feel like I start to put myself in a hole where I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna go back to like natural instinct, which is driving the ball.
Yeah.
And if the blocks are coming in very good, the drive isn't working, then it just gets, progressively harder. Like I just keep driving the ball harder and harder. I just go down this like terrible rabbit hole.
That's exactly where I was, to the
Next
point
thing
where
you give up like 6 points. I'm like, crap.
Yeah. And I had to look at Michelle and was like, all right, I'm going to start driving at 80% because I'm missing too many of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not barely missing. I'm hitting the ball halfway up the net at halftime at times. So
I started to become like an asshole. I started like trying to like jam the girl. Try to like body bag her. Just like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yes, that is. Well, I mean, that is a strategy for sure to try to scare her and see how she handles it. But
that's definitely what I did at my last tournament, and it worked. And I'm so sorry.
That's how we beat our first team. Right. I mean, I literally terrified the girl, and she was giving me a lot of pop-ups, and we were putting the ball away. But
you gotta work with it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
So, have you had this experience in a tournament where? And I'm not taking away anything from any of the guys. I would say the team from Canada was the best team that we played. And then the team that we lost the bronze medal match to in men's that we beat earlier in the day. They were good teams, but very beatable. And I know the caliber of player that I play on a regular basis here in DC are all better than these guys. And I beat them from time to time. I don't always win, but I win.
Yeah.
Right. And so walking away on Sunday knowing that I was better or I felt that I was better than every team we lost to,
Yeah.
really, really hurt. And it made me question my my love for pickle, because it brought me back to like to golf.
Yeah.
When I played competitive golf, Ryan, I was the best rec player ever. And then you put me in a tournament and I shoot 95.
Yeah.
It's like rec 78, tournament 95.
Yeah. I mean, it could just be like tournament nerves as well. But I mean, like, I know what you're saying. There's definitely been matches I've lost where I'm just like, there's no way I should have lost that match. Like, we play 10 times. I'm winning that 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. That's how I felt.
That one game is like a fluke. There is no way in hell that like I'm losing to these people.
Yeah.
Consistently compared to the people that I play with, like on a daily basis. Like, there's no way. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So
I don't mind losing to good people, right?
I agree.
You know?
I agree. If I felt like
Yeah.
if I'm playing a team that is obviously better than me and they earned the points.
Yeah.
But if I go and I give you 7 return points,
Right.
you didn't earn those points.
That's going to bother me on the drive home.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, I was bothered.
Yeah. And it shouldn't, right? It shouldn't. But, I start to like replay a lot of these points in my head. I'm just like, you didn't deserve that. Just like so bad.
No, I mean, at one point on Saturday, I was so mad. I was looked at Gio. I was like, I'm folding up the pod. I'm selling all my paddles. I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna go back to guitar. I'm gonna play guitar again.
Exactly. Yeah, guitar podcast. That's what's coming up next.
It's more peaceful. So that was kind of my weekend in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Fighting sickness, getting my ass kicked by people that I felt like I should have done better, and just tournament nerves. Ross tells me he's got something that he wants to tell. You know Ross Weinberg, right?
I've never played with him, but I think I might have played with him once. I think might have been for like a traveling Tuesday thing at TPC.
Okay.
But yeah, I believe I might have played with him and Chandra.
Yep. So really, really smart player, 5'0" guy. He watched a lot of my matches and he was like, look, I have stuff for you. Just tell me when you're ready to hear it.
Yeah.
And he's built it up so much at this point that I feel like he's going to tear me a new a-hole. Like he's going to really hurt my feelings as to what he has to say, because I told him the first night I wasn't ready for it, but I saw him last night and I was like, give it to me. And he's like, no, we need to sit down and talk about this.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, wow, it's a sit down talk.
He's going to bring you into like a little therapist chair, have you lay down and everything.
Dude, I would be okay with it if he could help me get through this.
Yeah.
Because actually this segues beautifully into my next little topic that I wanted to talk about, which is the bar raising faster than you are getting better? So is the bar getting faster than you're getting better? I bumped into Kyle McKenzie. Kyle McKenzie is the coach of DC pickleball team. He's Tyson McGuffin's coach. K-Mac is what a lot of people call him. And number one, Kyle, you're the man. Amazing conversation, like super nice guy. He took 5 or 10 minutes and sat there and talked with G and I for a while. And I told him that my goal for the past 2 years has been to get to a 5.0 duper.
Yeah.
But the problem is I feel like I'm getting better. My duper has been 4.5 to 4.8 for 2 years now. And what's happening, and my theory of what's happening, is there's so many good young players coming into the game that the bar of 5.0 is raising up and raising up and raising up. So what is now a 5.0 2 years ago, as we talked about in our last pod, would have probably been a 4.5 or a 4.25. So is the bar raising faster than you're getting better?
Yes. But I think we talked about it in our last podcast, right? We did the whole breakdown of like what's changed from like 2019, 5 years ago, to what it is now in 2024. And I think what you said last week makes sense. Like, you just have more athletes, coming into the game. That's the thing. You have more people picking up pickleball as their primary sport, versus us. We picked it up, later on in our lives.
Yeah.
And we have all these like, bad tendencies from like, other sports that are kind of just like maybe holding us back a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, and things getting in the way, like work and life and kids, to like, you can't train 6 days a week.
Exactly. I mean, that I think that's it. You have a lot of like, just great athletes, coming into the sport right now, and they're just picking it up, a lot faster. And I think we're just going to be seeing that a lot more, as the sport gets bigger. Yeah. That's the thing. So it sucks.
Yeah.
I think it's just the reality of, such a young sport.
I agree. And what's really sad is that, at my office, everyone knows how crazy I am about pickleball.
Yeah.
And they ask me about it all the time. And they know that my goal has been to get to 5-0.
Yeah.
And for like 2 straight years, I'm like, no, I haven't got to my goal. I got to imagine all these people that don't really know pickleball. They're like, damn, Brian, he just doesn't get better. He plays all the time, but he sucks. It's like, wow, come on, man.
Oh, God.
All right. And
there's always bigger fish out there. It's so crazy.
There really is.
Like, at TPC, like people will always be like, "Oh my God, Ryan, you're so great! Like you're an amazing player." I'm like, "Let's calm down here. let's tone it down."
Like, I appreciate the kudos and the confidence,
exactly.
but you obviously haven't seen an amazing player.
Yeah, I was like, "You see Sarah in her group right here?"
Yeah,
I was like, "You should watch them."
That's right.
Like, what are you talking about?
That's right. Well, speaking of Sarah, I think we should get into some PPA results.
Yes.
And then maybe a handful of matches that were noteworthy that people should go in and talk about. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to grab my notes here for a second. And let's start with Sarah. So Sarah played with the Pickleball Mama.
Yes.
Do you know who that is? Audrey?
Yeah, she's at the club, pretty consistently with her boys.
Okay, there you go. So
Yep.
Pickleball Mama, Audrey Bonata. If you haven't checked her out, she's on Instagram as Pickleball Mama, and she is training up pros.
Yep.
She is also a pro player herself.
Phenomenal channel.
Yep.
Such a great channel.
And Sarah Hua and her teamed up this weekend, and they made it to the round of 32. So they made it through their first round match and did quite well, and then ran into the buzzsaw that is a Kawamoto sister.
Exactly.
And man, the Kawamotos don't miss.
No, they don't.
So
I think it was Jackie. Yeah, but shout out to Jackie. Amazing run, in mixed doubles with Riley. But it's like you said, it's a bad matchup.
yeah,
It's such a bad matchup. And I think she played with Lacey Schneeman.
yeah, that's exactly right.
It's kind of a rout of a match, but you go out there to a PPA event, you win one match at that level. It's tough.
Look, to get to the round of 32 is a very impressive feat
sure.
at this point, because it to me says, like, granted, not every pickleball pro in the world is in that bracket, but to me, if you're getting to that level, you're probably a top 100 player for your age group.
Yeah.
So congrats to Sarah. She's been training hard, known her for a couple of years. She is a great player, and I beat her in singles 2 weeks ago. So congrats to me.
Yeah, she's definitely going to bring this up to me when I go into work later.
Yes, Zach, I hope she hears it. She'll be so mad at me. Yeah, she was probably mailing it in, but I'm taking it as a W because I was playing really well that night.
Exactly.
So that was really cool. Another one of our local heroes that showed up big time is a local school teacher. And if you guys know him, shout him out, tell him congrats. Doug Kagaris out of, I believe he's in Reston. Doug is like late 50s, early 60s, somewhere in there. And his son signed up and played 4-5, 19 plus.
Yeah.
Ripped through like a 12 or 13 person bracket.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I'm telling you, I watched a couple of their matches. The man brought ferociousness on Saturday, and they took gold.
Nice.
In a 19 plus bracket at 60 years old, or whatever Doug is. And if I'm aging you, Doug, I apologize, man. But Doug has this ability. His backhand punch is great. And unlike Brian, he shows up for the game. Yeah. And that he had the face on all day. It was ferocious. You did not want to mess with that man. He was there, and they won. So congrats to you guys. Our boy Danny Pyun and Zach. Look, Zach, I should know how to say your last name. We play all the time, but I'm going to go Opdenacker. Opdenacker. Can you say it?
Don't ask me. No, wait, hold on.
You're busting me up, and you don't even know.
You play with him consistently.
I do. Yes. No, Zach. Congrats, bro. I can't say your last name. Please tell me next time I see you.
Yeah, great players. I played with Doug. He subbed in for a Legends League at TPC, but he is like locked in. Even for those like rec games we played.
Oh yeah,
like he is like in the zone.
He's always a very intense player, but he brought that extra
level. I was a
little
nervous. I was like, I'm so sorry, Doug. I think I like drove one like straight into the fence on like match point. I looked at Doug and he just like sighed. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Dude, two things about him. He has the back punch, but his third shot drops are usually like 95% on. He is a really solid player.
Yeah.
And his son was awesome. That was the first time I got to see him play. He was very good. So, they kicked butt. And, they did way better than G and I did, and we played in the old man bracket. Another like knife in the gut, twisted up a little bit. Like guys that I play with are doing well in lower brackets, and I'm just
look at my medal, Brian.
Exactly. I said, it's all right. Pickleballs, it's for old people. I don't know. Ross and Steve Emmons took third in the Senior Open. I know they weren't. They were actually the favorites for me. I thought they would do a little better than that, but did quite well. Great team. Steve is a senior pro out of West Virginia. Ross, as I said, is a 5-0 player locally. I play with him a lot. Congrats to you guys. And then the last local crew that I wanted to congratulate, some of our teenagers out there kicking butt and taking names. And that's Miss Mary McGowan out of Winchester, Virginia. And then Vernon. I'm going to go Ngo. It's NGO. Can you...
I want to say it's just no.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, I did the white boy pronunciation.
I'm a terrible Asian. Don't put me on the spot, please.
So it's Ann and David's son.
Yeah, okay.
And great people. Vernon's an awesome dude. And he and Mary played mixed 19 plus, I believe, or 8 to 35, whatever the bracket was, in 4-5. And they did really well. And I believe they won it, right? Did I write that down? No, they didn't. They got bronze. Yeah. Yes, they got bronze. So congrats to you guys. I love our local players showing out in big tournaments and doing well, unlike me, who just can't seem to put things together. But there's always another tournament.
A lot of talent here in the DMV, right?
Yeah, so much.
Exactly.
So much. And that was just a small portion. It seemed like really a lot of people didn't travel for it down there. There was a handful of DMV people, but I thought it would be a much larger showing.
Yeah, I originally signed up for it earlier in the year. Like we had our Airbnb, ready for it. And then they ended up canceling it or just moving it, to last week.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be in like February or March.
Something around like March or April. But yeah, we had everything planned. Yeah, we were going to participate in it, but change of plans.
Yep. All right. So that's our local studs that did really well. And now let's talk a little bit about the pro world.
Yep.
And what's going on there. You want to lead it off, Ryan? What were some of your takeaways there?
I will say this. You know who had a bad weekend? Christian Alshon.
Yes, I did notice that. What's going on with that?
Oh man, brutal losses. Yeah, Riley Newman really whooped his ass this weekend.
Well, and they've been partnering up a lot recently.
Yeah. I mean, I know they did really well together out in Vegas. Obviously they beat the Johns brothers, but lost in mixed to Riley and Jackie. Lost in men's to Riley and Rafa Hewitt, and they both went deciding games.
Wow.
Yeah, for each one.
Wow.
The one with Jackie and Riley was like tough because Alshon and Prento, I think they had like 10 plus match points.
Well, they went out super early. That was like round of 32 or round of 16 or something?
It was quarters.
Okay, so round of 16.
Yeah. They went out in the quarters, but like they were down in game one. They came back and won it. They were up 10-7 in game two. Like I said, they had 10 plus match points. Wow. Multiple side out opportunities, and they just could not close the door on them.
Wow.
Jackie Kawamoto is an absolute wall.
Yeah.
He just gets everything back. I don't know if you watch like too much like Alshon matches, but like I don't think there's another mixed player on the tour that takes up as much court space as he does.
Yeah. It is maybe Ben.
Yeah.
No. Ben plays with Anna Leigh. He didn't even have to go that big. Yeah.
He'll maybe scoot over like a foot on her side, but it's nothing too much. But Alshon, man, he's just, I think that's like one of his downfalls is I feel like he's taking up too much court space.
That's possible. I mean, when you have CP on the other side, you don't really have to go that big.
One of the match points, he literally went from like side to side, like went over on her side, went back to his side, just completely ruined it. Like she already covered him. Yeah. Like he went right and then CP went left to cover him and he went back to the left to take the ball right in front of her. I was like, what are you doing, man? Like she's the number 2 player in the world. Like she has you covered. Like it's all good. Like he's taking up way too much court space.
In his defense, he is one of the most elite players.
Yes.
The men's players, and he's super long and tall.
From a pure athletic standpoint, like I don't think there's anyone else coming close to him.
It poses a good question for mixed doubles because it seems like the strategy has been for the man to take 65, 70% of the court.
Yeah.
And I've noticed when I try to do too much, I make a lot more mistakes.
Yeah.
And at what point is too much?
Yeah. And like he's just getting himself out of position, in so many of these situations. It's not like he's like scooting over a foot or two on, CP side. Like he's literally in front of her. Like listen, I poach a lot in mixed as well. But I can only imagine how tough it is, playing as a mixed partner, for the female. And like, you don't know what ball you're taking at this point.
Yeah, well, ask Michelle as I knocked her off the court this weekend. I mean, it's like, it's just terrible mixed play.
Yeah.
Terrible mixed play from Alshon and me.
Oh, man. But overall, it was a phenomenal match. It went well over an hour, an absolute dogfight.
Yep.
And then Riley and Jackie ended up getting smoked in the semifinal in like 20 minutes.
Wow. Who'd they play in the semi? Do you remember?
Johns and Waters.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
But
right into the buzzsaw. So in mixed, ALW, Ben Johns, run through the crowd.
Yep, they do it again. Yep, against the Johnsons. It is what it is.
Yep.
Brutal stuff, man. I root for them every single time.
Who doesn't? I love the Johnsons.
I love Georgia. She's great.
They can't beat them.
Yeah.
They've beaten them once. Yeah. They're like 1 in 50.
Yeah. And there was like 2 matches this year where they had like match points and they just couldn't close the door on them.
Yep.
But their recent matchups have been pretty one-sided.
Big time.
Yeah.
And that's where it's bad, where you're just straight games. Yeah. They're getting 3, 4, 5 points every game. It's just not close.
Yeah. So this weekend it went 4. The Johnsons won the 3rd game, but it was like a dogfight. It was like 12-10.
Okay.
And then I think they ended up getting washed in the 4th.
Okay. Yeah, and forgive me, guys. I will tell them myself. I was so entrenched in sucking and being at the PPA that I didn't get to watch a lot of the PPA. so Ryan's filled me in on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
What I did notice is ALW, Alyce, another Triple Crown.
Yeah.
She's the most dominant female player to ever play the game and maybe to ever play the game, period.
Yeah. I want to hate, but can't say anything.
You can't. She's so sweet.
I can't.
She's so sweet, and she's
I can't say anything.
I've talked to her multiple times. She's so nice, and the one thing that I can say, or the question I have, is at what point are some of the girls going to catch up to her? Is that even possible, or is this just as long as she's playing, she's going to be this dominant figure in pickleball?
I have no idea. Like it's just, I think she's hitting harder than like any of the girls on tour.
Oh yeah.
She's just so consistent. Her ability to cover the net is like unbelievable. Shout out to Brooke Buckner. That was an amazing singles match. Went 3 games. She definitely had a shot in the second game at 10-9, but Alyce was just getting every single ball back. Like Brooke was like slamming, shots up the line, and Alyce just on the full, just dead stretch.
Wow.
Getting all these balls back and just landing them in the kitchen line. I'm like, I can't believe it.
Yeah, I would say in singles the closeness is a little bit better, but in doubles she is so dominant. It is unreal. It is unreal.
And then doubles again. Straightforward win against Brighton Rohrbacher. Very underwhelming match compared to the last matchup.
It's like every once in a while Brighton Rohrbacher show up.
Yeah.
And they're ready to play, and they give them a great game.
Yeah.
And even beat them. Mm-hmm. But no, not this weekend.
Alyce and CP, they were like on them from point 1 all the way up until like, match point.
Yeah. And there's like a top 10 group of females.
Yeah.
And then outside of that top 10 group, the fall off is so far.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
And I think that's what's making the parity in MLP this year so fun. Mm-hmm. Is because there's the top ladies, but the teams who have those top ladies seem to be the more dominant teams within the league.
Yeah.
So as a drafter, as a GM, I'm sure a lot of guys are looking at that going, how many girls are going to go? Well, unfortunately, there's no more draft. Mm-hmm. But in the waiver wire period, how many top females, if they get dropped, which they probably won't, but the female pickups are going to be huge, I guess, is where I'm going with all this. And MLP in 2025.
When's the next MLP event anyway?
Oh, that's a good. It can't be that far out.
I just want to watch the Dallas Flash, St. Louis Shock.
Well, there's some
that's
heavy.
who I'm rooting for right now.
There are some heavy matches coming up because at this point, like the build up has happened and everything has a purpose. And
anyone but the fives.
Yeah. Well,
not the clowns, please.
I've already told you they're going to win it, is my prediction.
Yeah.
But I think the Flash have a good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd like to say I think the DC pickleball team has a shot too, but that's just me being a homer.
I don't know, man.
This is me being a homer a little bit.
Like, shit in the bed a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Ignatowicz and Deckel. I mean, both of them. It's like they have days of greatness and they have days of playing like me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ignatowicz this year has been kind of like underwhelming.
Yeah.
Him and Deckel have been very underwhelming in MLP. I mean, him and Alshon just lost this week. Him and Ben Johns lost earlier. I think it was in like Sacramento or something.
Yeah.
But I was like, not a good look for James.
No.
Apparently he broke up with Anna Bright.
No. Well, did he break up with her?
I think that's what you said last week. Maybe it was the other way around.
Look, this is all speculation. We know nothing, guys.
He's on a bad streak.
But let's just say like the last couple of months have not been awesome for Big Papa Jimmy.
Right. On the court and off the court.
Yes. All right. And that leads to my final topic, at least for PPA, which is the Johns brothers. They lose again. They lose again.
Big H. He is the X factor. With the whole Pablo and like Fed breakup, he's beaten the Johns bros with both of them.
I know that.
Right.
It's how amazing is that? Well, and so like Fed and Big H take down the Johns brothers in 5 games. Like epic
insane
match. Epic match.
Oh my goodness.
And
the 3 games they won too. Like it was like they completely flipped the script. They were just like, okay, like if we're gonna win this game, we're gonna pull it out. We have to like win these points in like under 10 shots.
Yeah.
That was the entire changeup.
Well, that is the formula to beating the Johns is you have to win ugly. If you go in and play traditional pickleball, that's what they do best.
They get smoked so badly because I was watching. I think the Johns ones, they won games 2 and 3.
Okay,
and they were just playing their game.
Yeah,
the entire time.
Look, you know what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
they're gonna hit great drops.
Yeah,
they're gonna dink you to death.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what they were doing. They were just icing Hayden out, having him pinch middle. Then they would just like hit right behind him, or they would just like throw 8 straight at Fed.
Yeah.
And then one to Hayden, and he would like just dump it into the net. Like it's tough.
It's really tough.
Towards the end of game 1, same thing. They just went into a very aggressive, what you call it, crash and drive.
Yep.
Drive and crash. And then it was the same thing in game 4. Completely flipped the switch from down. I think it was like 3-9 or 4-9. Every point after that was like under 10 shots.
Okay.
And then game 5 was an absolute rout. They were up like I think 10-1 or something at one point.
Yeah, and basically just pulling the trigger as fast as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it wasn't a driving crash, it's pull the trigger as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Get into a hands battle.
Extended dink rallies were not favoring them.
Were they aggressively attacking Colin? Did you notice that?
Yes.
Like, yeah, because what's
dropping towards Ben, and then they were just driving everything towards Colin. That was the entire strategy. Drop to Ben, drive to Colin. Drop to Ben, drive to Colin, especially when they were, unwinded on the stack.
Well, and what Gabe Tardio and what Big H have both shown you is that the right side player, if you attack cross court to Colin Johns and then just single him out, it's very effective against the Johns.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, well, in the last year or two, the right side player has not been the attacking side; it's been the dominant left. But that right side player that can attack changes the game.
Yeah.
And that's where Big H comes in and does his work real well.
There was a comment from one of the commentators, like towards the end of game 5, but Colin hit 2 speed ups from game 1 to game 5.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The commentator was like, "That is the first speed up from Colin Johns since game 1."
Yeah. Wow.
Brutal.
Whereas Hayden probably sped it up 100 times.
Oh yeah. They're just ripping it at Colin, but. That was it. I mean, that was like, it was a huge change up. I mean, like you can tell their energy was like super down. They got the ball back at 3-9 in game 4 and they just completely flipped the switch. They probably had a conversation. They were like 10 shots or less every single time.
So the Johns brothers are not going to finish as the top doubles team in the world this year. Who's the best men's doubles player in the world right now, Ryan?
Who's the best? Oof.
And I posed that question to you because it's really hard.
That's the thing is like, I don't know personally.
There's like 5 guys that I would say are the best or close to the best. Right?
In terms of the best doubles player, I mean, I would say it's still Ben. But I mean, as a team, I'm not too sure. I couldn't. I feel like I couldn't give you a straightforward answer.
That's well said. So you're saying that if he traded John and Colin Johns, and for Hayden Patrick,
100%. You trade Colin for any of those other guys, like in that like top 5 mix. Oh, it's a wrap at that point.
Wow. Okay.
No, it's a wrap.
Okay. Yeah,
it's gonna be like an Alyce like CP situation. Like it's gonna be so unfair and like, just uneven.
I don't think I can disagree with you logically.
Yeah.
But what I will say is they're like Hayden Patrick, Gabe Tardio. I still think that James Ignatowicz can be a great player, but Riley Newman has shown that he is not irrelevant at this point. He is a top player. Really good.
He's always there. He's always making deep runs at every tournament.
And Christian Alshon, for as little pickle as he's played compared to all those other top players, because those guys have been playing, Hayden, Gabe.
He picked it up like
5-6 years ago,
a year and a half ago or something, 2 years ago.
Alshon's 2 years in.
Yeah,
he's a freak.
Yeah,
and potentially could be the best. And I'm not saying this guy is the best. Matter of fact, he had really poor results. But there's a new kid on the block called Grayson Golden. Have you heard of this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about him, I think, in the last pod.
He beat Ben Johns, right?
Yep.
In singles.
So this dude is legit. He's 6'4". He's athletic, Division I UCLA tennis player.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling you're going to see his name a lot next year.
With a name like Golden.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Exactly.
Not bad for pickle.
You can't lose.
Anything else you want to hit from the PPA before we move on?
I think I was maybe one more. What else did I have here? I think the last match that was like insane. I think everyone should watch this. Was Alyce Jones and Tyra Black versus Brighton Rohrbacher.
Okay,
phenomenal. I think Brighton Rohrbacher, that took them 8 match points to close them out.
Wow.
Alyce Jones, again.
I actually did see some of that match. That was one of the matches.
It was an absolute animal. We were watching it live at TPC at the club, and you would have thought it was like the Super Bowl going on.
Wow.
Like it was insane.
Dude, Tyra is so good. But coming into that, they were the heaviest underdogs ever. If you were betting on that, they're like minus 650, minus 800.
No, it makes sense. I mean, Brighton Rohrbacher just came off beating Alyce and CP,
exactly
the week before. So you're imagining they're just going to run through, Tyra and Alyce Jones, but amazing game.
Yeah. And Alyce can really play doubles. I mean, she's still what I would consider a premier level doubles player.
Oh, for sure.
It's just her singles really let her down at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a killer one. And they did eventually put them away.
They did. But although very questionable call from Anna Bright. Actually, it wasn't questionable. It was in.
Yeah.
It was in. Again, bad line calls. Shame on you, PPA.
Yeah.
Terrible.
How does that happen, though? Didn't they have the line replay?
Yeah, they did. But I don't think they had any challenges left. But I'm just like, you just showed it on TV. Like, it was middle. It was on the line. It was insane. It was a terrible call.
Wow.
Man, talk about getting hooked.
Wow.
It was bad. Like, it is a huge change up from being like 11-11-1 to not getting that call. Now you're serving at 10-11-2.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge.
Well, and I had this going in our match as well. And it is wild and crazy, even in the amateur ranks, in that my first match of the day, it's like 5-5, 6-6. And the guy on the other side calls my ball out. I see it clearly in.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we had a ref. And fortunately, he was good enough to be paying attention.
Yeah.
And I appealed to the ref, and the ref was like, saw it. It was in. Good.
Thank you.
I was like, oh, thank you. And then same thing. Michelle serves one down the line. The lady calls it out.
Yeah.
I clearly see it in. Appeal to the ref. He saw it in too. Overturned.
Thank you. Doing your job.
It's like, come on.
What is this?
So that was kind of cool because most of the time the refs are like, I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
But the ref did clearly see it, and he did the right thing in our matches. So,
but it's imagine it too for like for these people. Like these people are playing for like their money and like their their prize money, their sponsorships. Like this is like this is paying the bills for them.
They want to win.
Yeah,
and they're not trying to
make that call. That ball is literally like inside line.
Yeah,
like the replay was terrible.
It's like it was a hopeful out ball, is what it was.
Terrible. Oh my goodness.
All right. So moving on. That was the PPA. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Jeez, Ryan, we talked for 48 minutes already, bro.
Yeah, I know. I just go on and on.
I know. Holy cow. I actually, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to save this topic for the next time. Our next pod is going to be talking paddles. Okay. And I want to know, are power paddles ruining the game?
If all you're doing is just driving it and neglecting the soft game, then I say yes. Because I think the kitchen is what makes pickleball.
Yeah.
Because if you just want to blast the wave, then I don't know, maybe just play tennis.
Well, and I think what I want to do is dive into those the specific power paddles that have issues with, how they're changing the game, and then how to actually play against them that I think might be effective. Like and then also, dude, that mod is crazy. I hate that paddle. Well, and the ripple is my new enemy, as I told you last time. There are certain individuals that have been using it as weapons against me.
If I see any of you using the mod, just know I'm judging you.
That's
across
right.
the net.
And ripple for me. And that's because Dave Richardson showed up last night with a ripple, and I was like, that's just what you need, Dave. That's just what you need.
If I was playing with the mod, I promise you someone would need a helmet.
Well, what's crazy is, like, for a guy like Dave and the ripple, and now we're getting into this because I love talking about it.
No.
But, like, he's so tricky and he uses angles so well that if you give him that extra bit of power where he gets effortless power on his drives, it's just adding a whole new tier to his game. And it's a great paddle for him. And look, if they're going to legalize it, play with it. I'm rooting for you.
Right? Can't say anything about it.
I hate it. I hate the paddle.
Terrible.
Well, with that being said, let me know, do you like power paddles? Do you not like? If you've made it this far, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We love you guys. We're going to keep talking pickle and bringing good content to you. And until next time, we'll see you on the courts.
See ya.
Peace.